What's going on, everyone? Is TheDurf, and in today's video I'm taking one of the best builds from the season, putting the final spin on it and bringing it to you guys to enjoy as we wait for Renegades to release, and that is of course your favorite Prismatic Strand Warlock build featuring Swarmers and Mint Retrograde. This build is going to feature unlimited Mint Retrograde ammo, 1 minute supers, printing your orbs of power, constant ability uptime, as well as woven mail being constantly procced, and oh by the way, endless green buddies. So if you've been looking for that final tweak to your Prismatic Strand Warlock build, look no further than this video. If you guys do find anything helpful in this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Share it with any guardian in need that you know of. Get them ready for Renegades. So without further delay, let's get on into it. Here we go. To get us started on our easy mode Prismatic Warlock centered around Strand and debuffing with Strand, of course we're going to go with Needle Storm. After embedding themselves into the environment, the needles will reweave into a host of threadlings. Of course, that is from our woven deals that we're going to be throwing out. So the main goal of this easy mode Strand, well, it's not an OG Strand, but Prismatic Warlock centered around Strand, is of course the chaos we are going to create that's going to help induce more allies around us in the form of green buddies. For abilities, we're going to go with Phoenix Dive, Burst Glide, Arcane Needle, and of course the Threadling Grenade. For aspects, we're going to go with Feed the Void, defeat a target with any ability to activate Devour. Your Devour effects are improved, restoring additional health and grenade energy. Feast on the energy of your defeated foes. Final blows restore health, grant grenade energy, and extend Devour. We are pretty much always going to have Feed the Void activated, which means we can repeatedly spam our grenade. Next up is going to be Weaver's Call. Weaver's Call is going to pair nicely with our Phoenix Dive. Every time we dive to the ground, Weaver's Call will activate. Activate your class ability to weave 3 threadlings and deploy any threadlings you have perched. Dealing damage and defeating targets generates perched threadlings. With the weapons that we have selected, which we'll go over here in a minute, the Weaver's Call is just going to be the icing on the cake, so to speak. We are going to be generating huge amounts of chaos, threadlings, and all of those things flying around the battlefield. Even where we can't see it, just doing damage to anything in the area that might be out there to try to get us. For fragments, first up on the list is Facet of Awakening. Rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blows. Generates an elemental pickup of the matching damage type. With our weapons that we are selecting, we are going to be going and getting Fire Sprites, which of course grant grenade energy, and Tangles, which of course when thrown, they're going to break into threadlings with our exotic armor. Next up, we've got Facet of Honor. Collecting an elemental pickup or destroying a tangle grants transcendence energy of the same type. Plus 10 to melee, so we will be able to at least get it back a little bit faster. But again, Fire Sprites and Tangles is what we're going to be picking up all the time. Next up, we have Facet of Balance. Rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy. Rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage grants grenade energy. With our easy mode build, we are going to be able to run infinite special ammo, essentially only relying on our primary ammo weapons selectively. So being able to generate a ton of grenade energy is what we're all about. Next up is going to be Facet of Purpose. Picking up an Orb of Power is going to grant us woven mail. Last but not least, and this one can be substituted if you want, Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. If you want to substitute this out with a very solid substitute, or maybe just substitute it out altogether because you think this other fragment is better, then I highly encourage you to throw on Facet of Bravery. Every powered melee kill that you get is going to grant your strand weapons unraveling rounds. And since we are going to be spamming strand weapons in general, that's going to help us out immensely with, pretty much just leveling the battlefield, which is what this build is all about. For stat distribution, I recommend speccing into Grenade, Weapon, and of course Super in that order. In this build particularly, melee does not matter, and you only really need a moderate amount of class to be able to get your class ability back, rapidly. Remember, Phoenix Dive only has a base cooldown, I think, of like 30 seconds. So anything you can do above, the base cooldown is just going to be bonus in your back pocket. Sorry, didn't mean to stumble my words there, but you get what I'm saying. Spam your class ability, throw your grenade. Spam your class ability, throw your grenade. Use your weapons. Spam your class ability, throw your grenade over and over and over again. And eventually you'll be able to throw your super into the mix as well, because it's not going to take you that long to get your super back either. For weapons, first up is going to be Mint Retrograde. Now, if you don't have a Mint Retrograde with Envious Arsenal on it, make sure you put on abundant ammo so you can get your ammo generation up a little bit higher than the stock height. However, if you do have Envious Arsenal in this column right here, you're going to be sitting pretty at above a 50. And then if you tack that on top of it, either way, you're going to be able to generate special ammo even more. The goal is to be able to spam Mint Retrograde as much as possible to generate threadlings. Now, the easiest way to do that, of course, is having one that has slice and hatchling. So these two perks in general are going to be insane when your main goal of the build is to cause as much chaos as possible. If you don't want to use Mint Retrograde, of course, New Melpais is going to be your go-to. And remember, the Suspending Blast, detonating a large number of rounds embedded in a single target, suspends them. So that means literally every champion that you come across can be suspended and therefore stunned. In the energy slot, we're going to be going with Ahab Char. Make sure you get one rolled with the perks that you see there. Heal Clip and Burning Ambition are the way of the samurai, so to speak. Anything other than those two really isn't going to do you justice. You can make an argument for Recycled Energy, maybe, and maybe Substance. But other than that, you just want a good baseline for stability, a good baseline for reload speed. The range doesn't really matter because 720 fire round per minute, you're going to be using your other weapons for distance fights anyways. In the heavy slot, we have a ton of options to go with. Of course, Heliatus is one of my favorites. I just got this roll in a T5, which is why I have so few kills. But trust me, I've been spamming this weapon since I got my first copy. You could also make an argument for Unwavering Duty, Dragon's Breath, Microcosm, Submersion if you've got a good Submersion bow roll, which I just picked that up as you see 0 kills. And of course, good old Galley. Any of these weapons are going to complement because we're going to pair this with our dual siphon mod. So whether it's strand or solar, doesn't matter. You're going to be able to generate orbs of power, and rocket launchers, in my opinion, are the easiest way to do that. Unless you're going for precision damage, then something like Unwavering Duty or Microcosm or possibly even Submersion would be a good fit. Swarmers is making another appearance in yet another Warlock video. Yes, I know. Everyone is loving their Swarmers right now, and for very good reason. With their ability to suspend unstoppable champs with threadlings, it's getting hard to put this down. And if you're making your way through the salt mines, like what you saw in the intro video and what you're probably going to see in the playthrough video at the end, Swarmers makes this easy mode. Combine this with the fact that you're going to be able to essentially just walk through the salt mines and still get a B or higher score, which is exactly what I did during the playthrough of this build. You're not going to be disappointed. Once you spawn those tangles, you chuck them, you got threadlings everywhere. You've got, unraveling going on like crazy. It truly does make the salt mines easy mode. And again, all you need to get is a B to get your bonuses on any of the runs that you do. For the rest of the armor, go ahead and spec into whatever general armor mod that you need. Make sure you put on Ashes to Assets and a special ammo finder in your helmet, and put on the Solar Strand Dual Siphon. For the arms, make sure you put on 3 firepower, so every threadling kill gives you an orb of power. For the chest armor, make sure you put on 2 damage resistance mods in elements, and then, of course, a harmonic ammo generation mod. What this is going to do is you're going to increase the ammo generation of strand weapons. So every kill that you get with the strand weapon, you get bonus kickback towards your brick process. For the legs, go ahead and put on Better Already and Absolution. Better Already, your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an orb of power. The reason I have this on here is because I want to be able to get my health back quickly, and I don't trust that when I'm going through different activities, with woven mail as opposed to something that is more health centric, such as like restoration, for example. Better Already really fits the build here. And of course, the goal of this build is easy mode. Having Better Already on here, you're not sprinting through the activity that you're in anyways. So being able to take a little extra slowness of your time, so to speak, and get your health back as you're moseying on through whatever activity you're in, Better Already really helps you here. Throw on an Absolution and then a Harmonic Scavenger so that strand weapons get bonus reserves when picking up ammo used by the weapon. Finally, in the class item, make sure you throw on a class font so you can spam your class ability more. And of course, throw on Reaper so that way you get your free overpower after using your Phoenix Dive, and round it out with Bomber so that you can continue the cycle of carnage over and over. As a bonus, make sure you spec into Last Discipline Armor. At 4 pieces, picking up an Orb of Power grants special ammo progress. So if you're able to generate tons of Orbs of Power, you're going to be able to generate tons of special ammo bricks, and that's what the goal is here. For the artifact, there's a few different ways that you can divvy up your 12 options here. Non-negotiable, of course, is going to be Anti-Barrier, Scout, and Pulse. I have Unstoppable, Sidearm, and Hand Cannon, even though I'm not really worried about Unstoppable champs. And then, of course, Overload, Rapid Fire for my Ahab Char. In the second column, this is where we can maybe talk about it. Flame Fiber and Freeze. If you don't want the dual Siphon mod, you can drop this off, and I'll tell you what we can put on instead. But one thing you do want, you want Tightly Woven, so you can get bonus class ability and grenade stats. And of course, you want the Threadlink Proliferation so that you have a higher chance to spawn Threadlinks on top of the Hatchling perk in your Mint Retrograde. In the third column, make sure you put on Pack Tactics. This procs with virtually no effort, and that is not even a joke. Pack Tactics procs with virtually no effort with this build, which is key here because, again, our goal is to be as kind of easy moseying on through the activity as possible. You want to put on Refresh Threads so that you get your ability energy back to your least charge ability, which, to be honest, in this kind of build, you're not going to have problems, with your abilities regenerating. Now, in this column, you may consider taking Flame Fiber and Freeze off for Fever and Chill so that you can proc Radiant with your Ahab Char. Me personally, I'm making it more about Strand than Solar. We can do a Solar variant here in the future if you want, but Fever and Chill really isn't necessary here, although there's going to be some people out there that probably think it will be. In the third column, again, if you don't want to use Flame Fiber and Freeze, you can always throw on Threaded Blast or Elemental Daze. But bar none, you want Elemental Coalescence so that you get your elemental pickups matching your equipped super, which in this case are Tangles. And then, of course, Energy Acceleration if and only if you are using not New Malpais. New Malpais does not pair with Energy Acceleration, so this has to be used if you are using Mint Retrograde only. In the final column, go ahead and throw on Shield Crush. You don't really care about your melee, but you get it back faster. It does deal increased damage, so make sure you're chucking it out from time to time to start the Unravel. And then, no-brainer here, put on Elemental Overdrive. Picking up an elemental pickup or tangle grants increased damage to weapons of the same element. And yes, that means you can stack damage on your Mint Retrograde. This build stands alone, or stands on its own very easily in just about every activity. Certainly if you're in very busy activities, this build is a premier build to want to take in to condense, the aerial nonsense. If you are running, slower moving things or maybe raids, this might not be something I would take necessarily into a boss fight. However, as a, overall strong, possibly S tier build. We're going to say it's S tier just because we can spam our Mint Retrograde so easily here. And Ahab Char is just insane. But there's going to be certain activities where this might not be as good, but for what we're using it for, it's just fine. And quite honestly, if you're a fan of, having your green buddies around, this build is not going to disappoint in the slightest. So if you guys did find anything helpful with this video, please consider liking and subscribing if you know a guardian out there who is looking for an easy mode build to roll through the salt mines and possibly whatever other kind of events we have in the future once, this week ends. Make sure you share this video with them or send them my way. My goal is to help as many people as possible. As always, I will have a dim link in the video description, and if by chance you guys are looking for a non-toxic gaming community, I highly recommend hopping into my Discord. It is booming, despite my week off, or my, 10 days off, where I took a little bit of a mental break from the game. My Discord was super active, community members, doing things, all over the galaxy, pairing up, getting things done, and of course, farming the current weekly activity. So I'm going to switch over to a couple more build highlights, and then we will wrap it up. By the way, big shout out to my Discord for keeping the passion going while I was on a little bit of a break. And of course, shout out to all my subscribers for being patient. I really do appreciate it. And of course, shout out to my paying members of the channel. I truly, truly, truly do appreciate you trusting me. And, in that way, I can't express that enough. I really do truly appreciate it. So thank you. All right, let's switch on over. As we make our way towards Renegades and we get a chance to look at some of the best builds from the season, I'm reminded of how much Swarmers is such an individual powerhouse. It doesn't really matter what the seasonal artifact is. It doesn't really matter what the surges are in any activity. Being able to spawn a ton of green buddies over and over and over again and generate your super as quick as a build like this will have you have it. Just kind of transcends what the seasonal changes do. I don't remember a season since Strand has been released in which Swarmers and of course Strand in general has not been one of the best options for pretty much any kind of universal gameplay, whether you're solo farming or you're in a team. Even some raids, Strand is preferential. It just really makes, it's visually aesthetically pleasing, at least for me, to see all the Strand chaos on the screen. And I know there's a ton of Strand fans out there that will agree. And even those that don't like Strand, you have to admit the chaos that it generates really does help make Strand kind of stay in a league of its own, regardless of whatever the meta is for the season. So anyways, if you guys did like the video, let me know in the comments. Let me know what kinds of things you guys would change for your final Prismatic Strand Warlock build. And of course, I will see you guys next time. Thanks as always for your patience. Like and subscribe if this video helped you at all, and share it with the Guardian in need. I will see you guys next time. Take care.